Saxon Algebra 1, Lesson 109. Greetings, students. Welcome to week 4 of Algebra between spring break and summer break, right? We're halfway through. We're right here. I'm going to cross this off. I don't know if you've checked, but the Algebra 1 book has exactly 120 lessons. So we're going to come out even at the end of the year. Some of the books have a few more than 120. So we're doing a little adjusting for them. But I don't have to adjust for this class because the book comes out exactly 120. And it'll all be perfect. And we will complete the book every single lesson. Oh my gosh, isn't that so exciting? So happy for us. Today's lesson, you guys, is so pivotal because this is a really important lesson, but John doesn't put enough homework problems, is my conviction. He doesn't give you enough opportunities to practice this, and students forget. And you know how Abby, Jayla, Laura, and Vivian are all preparing for the AccuPlacer, and they're going back to the very beginning of algebra and they're reviewing everything to make sure they understand. This lesson covers the one topic that they all were like, yeah, I got nothing on this. I don't remember this. I don't know how to do this. The other thing I will tell you is that John doesn't teach this the right way in the book. Oh my gosh, he makes it so much harder than it needs to be. I don't know where I learned this. I think my college instructors must have taught me this process. But it works so much better than John's way. So take really good notes. I know you take good notes every time, but make sure that you take really good notes and remind yourself, this is something I need to remember. Okay, and we're building off, remember that factoring by grouping that we did a couple lessons ago, where you have the 4 terms and you underline the first 2 and the last 2, and then you find what they have in common and rearrange it all? We're going to use that skill. Okay, let's dive in. That's enough talking. Factor is our instructions. Okay, well, that's like 99% of our problems, right? They say something dumb like that. All right, John gives us this. That's an exponent. Well, rookie mistake, John. You don't have it in the right order, so let's fix that for him first. We'll bring this to the beginning because that's the x squared term. 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. Okay, we're supposed to factor this into 2 binomials, but here's the drama. We have a number in front of the x squared term. Now, normally when we factor by inspection, it looks like that, right? It's just an x squared. What do we do with that? It's not the same as what we've been doing. We have to learn a new trick. Now, let me remind you that the standard form of a trinomial, of a quadratic expression, which is what this is, we call this the standard form. We call these numbers, this one we call A, this one we call B, and this one we call C. Okay, I'm going to use those letters as I talk about this. So I want you to kind of understand the code. 2 is A, minus 7 is B, minus 15 is C in this problem. Normally, if x squared has no coefficient, and I'm going to put a star by that because technically it always has a coefficient. If it's 1, we don't bother to write it down. Okay, so yeah, it still has a coefficient of 1, but you know what I mean. If it has no coefficient, then we find 2 numbers that multiply to C and add to B, right? We've been using that rule for a long time. They have to multiply to do this, and they have to add to do that, right? That's a rule. This is the tried and true way we've been practicing that. What we have to do is change this rule up a little bit to cover the situations where if x squared has a coefficient, and And the star again means besides 1. We're not counting 1, okay? So it's a case like this where we have a 2 there. Then what we have to find is 2 numbers that multiply to A times C. Oh, there's the twist. And add to B. All right, so there's the rule. Let me show you how it works, and then all these silly words will make sense. I'll give you a second to finish writing that. Okay, so in this problem, we see that there's a coefficient here that is not 1, and so we know we have to apply this rule. This rule is when there's just a coefficient of 1. This is for everything else. So what we do is we multiply A times C, and in this case, we would get minus 30, okay? Then we write down what B is equal to, minus 7. Now, in the past, I didn't tell you that you had to write down what is C and what is B and write the numbers. You can do that in your head. That's easy. But now, A, we're putting a twist on that rule, and B, we have one more step because we have to multiply A times C. I highly recommend that you just jot this down because it's harder to hold all those numbers in your head. I don't see a minus 30 anywhere on my page, but that's the number that I have to multiply to. So do this, you guys. It'll make your life ever so much easier. Okay, so we're looking for numbers that multiply to minus 30 and add to minus 7. Well, let's see. 15 and 2, that's not going to work because they don't have a difference of 7. 6 and 5, no, that's a difference of 1. 10 and 3, there we go, right? The two numbers, let's see, we're going to want the 10 to be the negative. So it's going to be minus 10 and positive 3, right? Okay, so the first step is find your pair using this rule. And here is our pair, right? Now, the next step is it's weird. We can't go straight to the binomials in this one. You know how normally once we get this pair, we can go straight to writing the binomial, and I say it's just an art project from there. This one, there's a few extra steps. What we have to do next is we have to take these numbers and use them to rewrite this original trinomial so it has 4 terms. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this first. 2x squared minus 7x minus 15. Now, look what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these numbers, and I'm going to draw 2 arrows. Minus 7x is also equal to minus 10x plus 3x. Do you agree that these two are the same as this, right? This equals minus 7x, and that says minus 7x. So I use my pair to split that middle term into 2 terms that are equivalent. They're exactly the same. I have to tack the x on. Don't forget that, because it is the middle term that we're adjusting here, so it has to be an x term. But I'm creating 2 terms that collapse down into that, but I need 4 terms here, and you're going to see why in just a minute. Then I just copy this as is. See how I did that? This gets changed into that. Those stay exactly the same. Now, step 3, factor by grouping. You already know how to do this. So we'll have those 2 and those 2. What can we pull out of this? Looks like we can pull out a 2x, and that will leave us with x minus 5. right? And then from these two, we can pull a 3, and that will leave us with x minus 5. Remember, that's how it should always work out. We should get the same number, or the same binomial. And now it's art project time. We just gather up these two clumps and make a binomial out of them. 2x plus 3 and x minus 5 is our final answer. Let me make sure. Oh, sorry, I was looking at a different problem. 2x plus 3 quantity, x minus 5 quantity. Yay, this is right. John teaches it to you in a ridiculous way that involves all this guessing. The keys to algebra, which are the booklets that those students are using to prepare for the AccuPlacer, tells you to guess. It's so dumb, you guys. Don't guess. This process will walk you through. And it's wildly satisfying to do this because you take such a weird, complicated thing and break it down easily. Now, the other thing I want to tell you, the students always ask this: how do I know which order to write these in? How do I know whether to make the 3 go first down here or the minus 10? Spoilers, it doesn't matter. Either way will work just fine. And I'm going to show you just because I want to. All right, so if I can turn the page, that's going to be the hardest part of this whole process. Page, there. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. No, I'm going to copy this. 2x squared minus 7x. Right? And I said that, I'm so crooked. I said that my numbers were minus 10 and 3, right? Those are my numbers. Last time I put the minus 10 first. So this time I'm going to do positive 3x minus 10x. I'm flipping the order, right? Okay, so there's where I split the 2, and then these come straight down. These don't change. 2x squared minus 15, right? This changes into that. I double check and make sure that they're the same, right? Because if I add like terms, I'd get minus 7x. That's correct. So we're allowed to do that. We can expand it. And what that does is it just creates 4 terms so that we can do the factoring by grouping. That's the whole genius of it. Okay, so now we're in factoring by grouping mode. What can we pull out of this? Just an x, right? And we'll get 2x plus 3. And then from this, let's pull a minus 5. 5 times 2 gives the x, and then 5 to get 15 is 3. And look what happened. That's the same. So we do x minus 5 quantity, 2x plus 3. Okay, so let me show you what's different. In this one, we got the 2x plus 3 on the inside, and the x minus 5 are the pieces on the outside that we then collected up. Last time, it was the other way around. The x minus 5 was inside the parentheses, and the 2x plus 3 was the part that we gathered up at the end. That's the way it works. Depending on which order you put these in, you'll get a different, it'll present differently here, but once you clean it up, it'll always look the same there, okay? So you can't mess that up. Students are always like, I don't know which one to put first. It doesn't matter. Yay, I love when things like that don't matter. All right, and then we just are gonna do this one. No, we're gonna do 2 more. But it'll go faster this time. I mean, I don't know. Are you in a hurry? Or are you just like, no, this is fun. Let's keep going. That would make me really happy. 3x squared. I don't really think you're thinking that, but I am. I just want you to know I have so much fun doing this. Even though I miss your smiling faces, and it would be so much more fun to do it in person. Oh, spoilers. The final exam is going to be live and in person at my house. Yes, it's true. I'm fully vaccinated. We'll work it out so that everybody's not here at the same time breathing on each other. But the final exam will be at my house. I will have you sign up for times that you want to come, and we'll take care of all that later. But we will be here in person, which I like a lot better because that means you'll ask questions and I can grade it on the spot. Oh, I'm so excited. Okay, ready? I am fully vaccinated, and I got the Johnson & Johnson one vaccine, and I didn't die of a blood clot. So that's good, right? A times C. Remember that there was a problem and they paused the Johnson & Johnson for a while because a lot of women were developing blood clots. Well, not a lot. I think there were a total of 6. But it was not good. Okay, C. A times C. Remember, we multiply the first times the last to get a special number that we want to multiply to. So that's minus 6. And then our B is minus 1, right? There's an invisible one there. Okay, mine's pretty invisible too. So we want to multiply to minus 6, and we want to add to minus 1. Okay, that sounds like 3 and 2, doesn't it? We need the 3 to be the minus because we want to end up with a minus 1 when we add them. All right? Now, I'm ready to do my split, and I know that I can write these in either order and it'll be fine. But if you see little patterns developing and you think, okay, I want to do it like that, you can do it like that. I want to put the 3 first so that the 2 3s will be together, and then I'll put the 2 over here and the 2 2s will be together. Ooh, that sounds good. So I'm going to put minus 3x. Remember that you have to make it an x term. Over here we just talk about the numbers, but we're giving them a variable of x over here. And then this will be plus 2, and then these come down just the way they are. We don't change them. 3x squared minus 2. Okay? That's beautiful. That gives us 2 pairs to factor by grouping. I'm going to pull a 3x, x minus 1. Oh, I forgot to write the x there. And then I'm going to pull a 2, x minus 1. And remember that when you factor, we are dividing. So if you're dividing 2, if you're pulling a 2 out, you're left with not a 0 but a 1. And that's confusing, and the way I always remind you to test it is distribute it back and make sure you would get this again. Sometimes students think, well, no, 2 divided by 2, there's nothing left, and they just want to put x there. That's not right, because then if you distributed, you just get the 2x. You wouldn't get that one back. So you need that 1 there. Then you'd get 2x minus 2, right? Because you have to multiply that. Okay, just a reminder on factoring. Okay, and then our final answer is 3x plus 2 quantity, x minus 1 quantity. Yay! And one more. See, when I don't write a million things and I don't explode it all, look how short that problem ended up being. They're efficient, and you guys, they're just kind of fun because there isn't a ton of math, but you have to do this little detective work. Okay, and John gave us this one straight too. You know how he likes to mess things up just to be a jerk, honestly. Minus 6. Just double checking my numbers. Yes, okay. So A times C equals minus 30, and B equals minus 13. I'll give you a second to think. I can see the pattern. Think and see if you can get the 2 numbers. Did you get it? There are minus 10. Wait, no. Oh, see, I tricked myself. Minus 10 and minus 3 do indeed add up to negative 13, but they multiply to positive 30. So that is a no bueno. Instead, I choose minus 15 and 2. Those add also to minus 13, but these actually do multiply to negative 30. There are several numbers that are tricky like that. 12 is another number that just gives you lots of combinations and you can get fooled by it. So be careful and know that there are some pairs that are really super tricky. Okay, let's split our middle term using those numbers. I'm going to do minus 15x and plus 2. I'm not really thinking about it. That's just how I wrote them there. Put the x in. These come down just the way they are. Factor by grouping. 5x, and I get x minus 3. And then from this, all I can pull is a 2, a positive 2. Remember, you always want the operation sign in there. And that will leave me with an x minus 3. Yay, this worked out. My final answer is 5x plus 2, x minus 3. Yay. This is called advanced factoring. That's a good name. I like to call it factoring by grouping though, because you have to make the two pairs. That helps me remember better. All right, so you're burning this into your brain, right? And you're gonna remember it for years to come, even though John's not gonna give you many homework problems on it. And when you are at the end of 10th grade and you're testing to go into Running Start, you'll see this in the review booklets and be like, oh, she told us a really long time ago to remember this, but I forgot it anyway. You'll remember. I have every confidence in you. Okay, we're done. Bye.